As the Nigerian government becomes more and more intolerant, it will seem, of any form of dissent, Nigerian youths have, in recent times, found themselves bearing the brunt of the government's suppressive tactics. From the violent EndSARS crackdown to the Twitter ban, and more recently, the June 12 clampdown against peaceful protesters, many young persons are now gasping for breath. What is worse is that the entry barriers into the political space where they can make a mark are set so high, rendering it impossible for them to have a say on how the country is governed. With the odds heavily stacked against them, we will now be joined from our Abuja studio by Segun Sowunmi, a public affairs analyst and former spokesperson of the Atiku Abubakar campaign organization, to discuss the way forward for Nigerian youths as the 2023 general election gradually creeps into the horizon. Welcome to the program, Segun Sowunmi. Good to have you. Good morning.
It's nice to hear your voice. It's nice to be here, Dr. Abatia, your crew. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. Well, very quickly, we had Not Too Young to Run, right? And many Nigerians supported that. And now we're hearing that too many obstacles in the path of young Nigerians who are interested in political participation. Could you help us define these, challenges? As a young person yourself who had been involved actively in politics, both at the grassroots level and also at the national level.
Thank you very much. I think that if we agree that the nation Nigeria has about 200 million people, and we also agree that maybe the statistics are 6% of that population is young, that means we're talking about an active strength of about 120 million people, just working with the statistic that is mostly bandied. It therefore says that the young people have the numbers. As at the 2019 election, the one where Atiku Abubakar and Muhammadu Buhari were the front runners, His Excellency the President of the country got 15-point-something million votes, and because we do not really agree that we were fairly treated, I would just say we were allocated about 11-point-something million votes to Atiku. Both votes are less than 27 million. That means that if you take 27 million out of the possible numbers of young people, or even the available statistics in terms of 80 million registered voters who have PVC, you know that the numbers are there. What I have noticed over the years is that young people have not really, dissected and distilled the argument properly. There has never been a time when in this country young people have not been participating. For instance, some of the young ones who have been governors include Ojuzo Kalu, Donald Duke, who were in their 30s, some other ones in their 40s, and Muazu. It's a lot of them. And in this present era, you have Yaya Bello, who is a two-time governor and is still in his 40s. Now, I think what the young people most likely may be saying, without really saying it clearly, is that they want to be president. But they've had a very young speaker of the number 4 in the country, in Dimeji Bankole, my brother. They've had young, a lot. Bukola Saraki was 41 when he became governor. So I'm saying that if it is the presidency that they want to take, the thing that young people have to understand is that there's a route to that. Yes, you can advocate, you've advocated, they've given you Not Too Young to Run bill. You must now have to understand that there is a way you will plan yourself towards that. It starts with having some experience, because the work of a Nigerian president is very, very tough. It's not as simple as it looks from outside. You have to form government, you have to balance diplomatic relationship, you have to do all of the economic issues, you have to manage security, you have to keep the tribes together, you have to make sure that the wheel of government is running. So you need someone who has some form of experience. And it's usually better to say that maybe you should cut your teeth as a governor first. In that case, so that we don't waste too much time, if you are interested in the 2019 cycle, you then ask, there are two parties that are 1 and 2, APC and PDP, and there are about 16 others, because there are about 18 registered parties in the country now. That means within these 18 registered parties, the young people can decide which one they want to follow. Or they can make it easy for themselves by participating in the democratic process of the two big parties, put their numbers in and try to check it, or look for young people that are already on this process. As this conversation went on, my mind kept going back to Yaya Bello. Why? Because number one, no one can accuse him of being old. Number two, perhaps no one can even accuse him of being the one that caused all the 60-year problem of Nigeria. And then, of course, he has also had the courage to say that he wants to be president. And if you follow what you see happening in public space, in the news, in the media, some of the endorsements he's been getting, younger people going to meet him, then you will say, if young people want to be president, then they must learn to back one of their own. Why am I saying this? Because in the last 2019 election, Sowunmi was on the ballot. They didn't really back him much. Drotoye was on the ballot. He didn't really get good numbers. If they want, you can even say Moghalu was on the ballot. He didn't get good numbers. And it therefore suggests that young people just like to advocate. They like to complain. They like to maybe sometimes even do NSAS. They like to, do June 12 riots. But the critical call to action, which is get involved, join parties, get your PVC, look at the candidates, look to candidates that are speaking to the issues that interest you. Because at the end of the day, you have to ask in Nigeria, is it really about age or about a potential big vision that can connect young people? Therefore, the old is not exactly excluded. Neither are young people not being allowed to participate. They must just use their numbers responsibly. The numbers are with them. The energies are there. The know-how is even there. Some of the trending styles of other countries is also available. But if they insist that the only way they can be president is for every one of them to have a platform of his own, and they cannot collaborate, they cannot understand that it's a collegiate that wins power, and they cannot back their own, then you know that they are not serious. When the Yaya Bello thing started coming up, I noticed on social media that half of the people who were just abusing him for no real reason, they weren't asking the right question, they weren't asking him why do you want to be. They weren't asking him, okay, what about this issue? They weren't taking him on the kind of issues that can make him be challenged, and probably if they are lucky and they like him, he can be their champion. No, they are not doing that. Instead of doing that, they're complaining continually. They don't understand that the advantage of democracy is that democracy allows for participation of all persons who are within the voting age for voting purposes, and all persons who are within the voting age for election purposes. In Nigeria now, by the assent of the president, when you now have the not too young to run bill working, it means that nobody is stopping young people except themselves. They are the ones who are building, obstacles in their mind. They're thinking about money. If they can crowdfund for Big Brother Africa and buy all their fans, all sorts of beautiful houses and all of that, they can raise money for themselves. Then there's also one issue I need to put on the table quickly. Young people must understand, you cannot run into running. You will crawl, you will walk, you will run, and then probably you go to the airport and fly. It's not the only office in the land that you should look for. There are councillorship positions all over the place. You can start from there. There are chairmanship of states. You can do that. There are governorship positions. You can try your hand. There are houses of assemblies and senates and rep. Those are there. But if you insist that you're going to stand on one spot and be screaming that they are cheating you, and when the election comes, you look at the voting metrics, you'll find out that the people that are even actively participating are young people. So the question is, young people, make up your mind precisely what you want, and then calmly organize yourself in a manner that you can make it happen. And I will add, do not be deceived that the older ones too, who are putting forward good ideas, are putting forward those ideas because young people are not involved in their own process. And also know, it is sometimes better to take the line of least resistance. What do I consider from experience the line of least resistance? Countries all over the world, oscillate between two parties. It's either you want to be APC or better be PDP. And then you can have a contestation of ideas. And the PDP has been quite fair. Most of the women hardly get to pay for their forms. It's all part of making the inclusion possible. And I also know that if they continue to advocate within the structure of the PDP, they would even do a whole lot more for young people. But please, you cannot have a majority advantage with number and then insist that you want the country to serve you whatever office you want a la carte. It doesn't truly work that way.
Well, it definitely does not. Perfectly put on every level. However, you have placed the onus entirely on the young people. What is your party, well, I'll ask only about PDP because that's your party, what is your party doing to actively court the youth and groom them, rather than just expecting Mohammed to come to the mountain? Will the mountain not go to Mohammed?
Thank you. You are very correct. In fact, I would even take the liberties of speaking on behalf of both parties. why am I saying this? A couple of weeks ago or months ago, the APC, the opposition party, or the leading party, started a registration exercise, a revalidation of voters register. They did a lot of FaceTime campaign encouraging people to join the party. If young people want to seize power, that was one route. Right now, I'm also aware that the PDP has inaugurated its online registration, even to make it less cumbersome, so that they don't even have to sweat. They can just sit in the comfort of their room and get onto their internet where they like to play, abuse, and insult everybody, and register to join the party. Look, the parties are not designed in a manner to speak to just one section of the country per the age weighted average of ages. Parties are designed to speak to all of the country, and every part of the country that wants to participate can then key in. I just told you that the PDP as a party, we have reduced the cost of the forms, if that is the issue. We have even made it completely free for women, just to make sure that we can have, the gender parity and remove the ceiling on them. And I'm telling you also that knowing that party as I know it, they will be willing to do some more accommodation for young people. The people that drive the parties, the people that do the mobilization, the people that do most of the work, the people that do the social media footprints for parties, the people that, hail parties and get are all young people. And take the case of some young people that have gotten really good things. Dimeji Bankole was number 4 in this country. He was under PDP. I doubt whether they can give him that in the place where he has gone to now. You have a young man as a speaker in your state. You have a very young man, Rose Vivor, who was given the senatorial ticket of one of the biggest senatorial districts in Nigeria under PDP. Look, what I am saying is this. Young people, you have the numbers. It's okay for you to want to lead when you look at France, Macron, and all of us. All of us together can want to lead, yes. But we're not going to be able to do it by flight, by night. Some of us have been in this process for years, not because we have gotten any big post, but we've never left it. And we have been calling as many more people that are willing to participate to come on board. You will learn the ropes. You will see what is possible. You can buy a form. You can try to see whether you can make it at the primaries. If you don't make it on the first outing, you don't have to give up. Democracy is a journey. And the journey of democracy must be situated in such a way that you back yourself. I threw up Yaya Bello for a purpose. He's young. He has had the conviction, in fact, the courage. The first time Yaya Bello says he wants to be president of Nigeria, I said, wow, this is some courageous guy. And I've been watching him, doing little bits and all that. If young people just decide that, okay, you these old people, Yaya Bello did not help me to cause all the problem of 1966 today. Therefore, we are backing him. Then Yaya is going to be in a very strong standing in his party. Because you have to cross the hurdle of primaries first before you can get to the general election.
Okay, Mr. Sowunmi. A lot of young people watching you now, let me tell you their feedback. They've been sending me some of them. They said they are shocked that you're saying this because it is your party, the PDP, and the incumbent party, the APC, that caused most of the problem we have today in the country. That they have not done any better for them. That 22 years return to democracy has been because of the failure of 2 political parties. So you making a justification for them is quite shocking for them. And they're saying, how about, you talked about Macron, how about you allow them disrupt the polity? Because when you say they can come and learn and mentorship, they're asking, what can they really learn from you, really? The same things they speak against, the same bribery and corruption, that's what you want to teach them. So how about we having a country where young people can have their own political party and disrupt things just like Macron? You spoke of Macron. Macron didn't go to the Socialist Party or the Republican Party in France. He set up something called he set up his own political party, La République en Marche. And with La République en Marche, he got in there. So that's what a lot of young people want. And they're asking, how can you be part of that journey, not coming to sell the 2 big parties that the young people claim has failed them today?
Let me now respond to that. Look, you see, you must know your environment and you must know the field you want to operate in. For any man who does not know his rival and does not know the field he's operating, he's going to be frustrated. I've told you that there are 18 parties. I've given you the similitude of Durotoye, I've given you that of Showore, and I've even given you that of Mogalu. They're young at heart. If the young people are so determined, why not? If you want to register a new political party, what's wrong with the 18 that is existing? Why can't you populate them? If your anger is such that you think that everybody in PDP is responsible for the rots in the country and the APC is responsible for the rots in the country and you need a brand new party, hello, you have the numbers. But if your answer to every suggestion is to speak not with the intention of hearing, but with the intention of responding as if somebody is telling you not to do whatever it is you want to do, I bet you we're going to get to 2023 very soon, God sparing our life. And we'll have the opportunity to review this. I'm speaking this way because I know for a fact that all those parties, the APC, the PDP, the YDP, all of those parties, if young people pick one of them or two of them and run themselves into it, they will overwhelm the system. This thing is called democracy. People will still have to vote in some of those primaries. Nobody is holding anybody down. I just told you of the age of men who started out very young. People like Donald Duke. He was on the ballot the last outing. How many votes did young people give him? How many did they give Dorotoye? How many did they give Sowore? So if anybody wants to be president, you first of all have to declare an intention. I've gone out of my way again to say, look, oh, am I in Yaya Bello's party? Hell no. Have I ever met him? I have not. Do I know him personally? I don't. But I'm telling you that, okay, this is one young man who says he wants to be. Some of the things you'll be looking out for is that, can he form government because of experience? Perhaps he has. Does he understand the issue of diversity? Okay, he does, because he comes from a smaller tribe relative to the big tribe in the state and is balancing things. So is he part of a party that if he wins in the primaries, he will be the candidate? Imagine for a second that all young people who are APC start to say, is Yaya Bello we want? Is Yaya Bello we want? And Yaya became the candidates via their, primaries. That would automatically lift the game.
Segun Sowunmi, we have
yes,
just about 3 minutes to go. I see you must have mentioned Yaya Bello about 15 times in the course of this, conversation.
There's a young man there.
I hope you are not planning to decamp to the APC or to Yaya Bello's tent. Well, I'm not his fan anymore.
No. Look, let me tell you. Listen.
Just wait. I've had enough of Yaya Bello.
I am irrevocably. Listen, gentlemen, Nigerians. I am irrevocably committed to the ideological underpinnings of my principle. You have asked me to let us discuss young people, and I'm showing you young people. The ideas that we will be interested in are those big ideas that can transform the whole of Nigeria, including transforming young people. I am seeing Bukola Saraki as well. I do not know whether he's declared his intention. He is young at heart. But if you say you want to carry the kind of humongous responsibility on Nigeria and put it on the head of a neophyte who will not even be able to tie his shoelaces, well, it's democracy. Sometimes these things can happen. But for it to happen, you must understand that it goes beyond filibustering and all that. Look, do you not get shocked that with a voter number of about close to 80 million, only about 15 million installs a president? Where are the others on election day? They are young people. Some are playing ball. Some are gisting. Some are in the hotel. Some are telling you they are not interested in politics. Tell me how we lower the age. I myself have been struggling in this game for a while. What real opportunity has one gotten? But the truth is, if you don't come to the table, you will not be able to participate. And I've given you a caution. Don't be discouraged if the first time out, you don't make it.
On that
Some
note,
of these men, the so-called articles of this one, they started as young men.
Yes, quite right. You are quite right on that. Well, thank you very much, Segun Sowunmi, for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you very much indeed for your insights. And I hope the young people will get your message.